Hello, I'm Danielle Davis, the subspecialty dietitian at New York City Health Hospitals, Kings County, and today I am taking over this episode of the YouTube podcast, and we're talking about work-life balance. So work-life balance is something we hear a lot about, everyone strives for, but what do we actually do? And it can vary wildly from person to person and job to job. So one of the main things I find helpful with work-life balance is setting boundaries. This can be uncomfortable, but it's necessary. Because generally what you want to do is let people know what you're willing to do first and foremost, so you don't feel like you're overextended. That's the balance in work-life balance, right? If it's more like having a dedicated conversation, that can always be done if you feel like you've already had a conversation. Sometimes you just want to sort of succinctly say, what are your needs? What are you willing to do? You want to think about discussing positives and negatives, right? So if I am trying to maintain a balance of working hours, maybe the balance is I'll take a couple of calls between 5 and 6, but then there's no calls after 6 p.m. because you want to have time to be refreshed, right? You need downtime. Generally the human body runs 24 hours, but we're not up 24 hours. We have this rest and this downtime. Should be the same for your work and your life balance, correct? Another thing I find to be helpful is organization. Now, depending on how you like to organize, it can vary as well. I'm more of a fan of to-do list. It kind of makes me feel like when I'm breaking down a major task, it's not overwhelming. Chunking information, that's another thing I find to sort of organize, like what is it that I need to do for this project? What are the main tasks? What are the goals that I want to get done, right? Also, you want to have a calendar for fun things, right? It's not everything that has to be sort of like borderline bullet points. You want to incorporate things that you enjoy as well, because that helps you keep everything in balance, right? And then, generally something that's also helpful is exercise. When we need that little bit of like serotonin boost, that little like bump to kind of get us going, taking a walk outside, even if you can only spare 5 minutes, can help you with the balance. I try to make a point of taking a walk or getting away from my desk every day. And it's not just to get away. It's to really just make sure I'm keeping things in balance. A little bit of exercise. It's good for my soul. It's good for my mental health. Here in New York City, sometimes just going outside and looking at a tree, looking at a plant, just reinvigorates you. It makes me feel like, okay, I can kind of go back in and just kick butt and do what I need to do for the rest of the day. So when we talk about exercise, we're always thinking about, either getting more fit, weight management, health parameters, but sometimes it's just good for your mental well-being. And that's a really key for your work-life balance, to make sure that you're checking in with yourself, right? If you're setting these boundaries and you're finding that you're not keeping them, maybe taking a brisk power walk will help you kind of brainstorm. And that way you can kind of get at it and get organized again. Because the idea is that you want to make both your work and your life work for you. They shouldn't be working against each other. They should be working in tandem, right? So make sure you set boundaries, get organized in the way that works for you. Are you a visual person? Do you enjoy listening to things? Whatever works for you, get organized. Make sure you set a pro and con list for yourself. You want to make sure you're looking at it from different perspectives. And, take a walk every now and then. Look at a plant, get a little sun. Good for your vitamin D levels. That's what I have for work-life balance. I am Danielle Davis, subspecialty dietitian at New York City Health Hospitals, Kings County. Thank you.